This new layout on ArtStation. It's a thing. I'll put myself over here, I suppose. Mechmania. Yes. So, followed by the no AI generated images. I like it. Hello, Manu. How you doing? Manu. Nice mustache. Thank you. So, I'm curious. So, as a 3D concept artist, um, this is pretty crazy. I'll click on some of these just to see, like, there's a lot of advertising going on here as well. So it looks like there's a kit of stuff to buy, right? And I'm assuming a lot of the kit is used to create this content. I mean, so generally speaking, this is pretty cool. There's a lot of detail going on. So I think you have the modeling side kind of down when it comes to the hard surface aspects. Oh wow, this nano suit though. Decided to try and use stable diffusion. That's so interesting. And then having I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Okay, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got in here. Box cutter, hard ops, key shot. So there's a lot of hard surface going on. We're looking at Blender. I think where I'm noticing stuff, and maybe it's because like this piece, let's see, my old work. So this is a while back. Well, 5 months ago. Helped out with a brush. What does it mean? So there's some cool stuff going on here. There's some cool things going on here. The things I would probably comment on are there's a lot of like proportional stuff happening where you're like, okay, the anatomy is there. There's an understanding of like where the anatomy is, but at the same time, like this one's quite good. Back, yeah. This one has a you can tell there that this person is looking at anatomy, right? They know how the body is shaped. The other thing too is I'm completely atrocious when it comes to characters. Like I'm not a character person. So what I would say, so mechs are really cool. What I would say is that the way that they're being presented, so none of this stuff looks game ready, of course, unless we're running like nanite and the character's not moving around and it's just looking at things, right? But squinting, there's elements where it's like, okay, the shoulders, like this idea of a shoulder pad, getting these details to be areas of rest, especially these areas, finding that balance where you get the 70-30 ratio going on, the 70% area of rest, and then the 30% high frequency detail, which is like basically if you squint, everything is high frequency detail. Popular snowman. Hey, yo, Sven, I recognize you as Sven 3D, but I also recognize popular snowman. So there's some aspects to take away from that. I honestly I don't have much to say other than really pushing the overall design. There's a lot of information going on, a lot of detail happening. I'm curious of this one. Is this generated or is this no Blender stable diffusion? Yeah. Interesting. So the things when I look at this one, I think this one's probably the best example of like how do you push your quality up, and it's about that industrial design and how you use it to visually balance what you're looking at. So that way we can take it in and appreciate it without going, wow, that's a lot of detail, and then leaving it at that. You're like, dang, that's crazy. But like, I think if you really want to impress, you have to push to get that ratio, the 70-30 ratio in. Like we could spend some time photoshopping out some of the details, but I mean, I think it makes sense. You a lot of the times in design that you see in films, DefCon, what's up, man? How you doing? A lot of the designs are going to be like joint based is where the high frequency is, where there's a lot of movement or like joint action, high frequency, and then it's all like it's either protected or like or designed in a way where there's plates kind of covering and creating these big areas of rest. And I think there's also something to be said for defining material types. You know, I always talk about material definition. Getting some of this tubing to really feel rubbery and not as reflective. You have some elements where like this even has like a roughness attribute to it. There's some roughness texture information happening there. Also some text, which is just, of course, adding or contributing to the frequency of detail. Figuring out where to do that and how to balance all of that stuff out is going to be extremely important to push this stuff forward. Let's see what's going on here. So this is a good example of balancing it a bit more and thinking about a little bit of the exposed design and trying to imply functionality. I think when you get into this territory, it's really important to figure out how these like these braided muscle strands or the simulated muscles are going to be how they connect, where they connect, making sure that they don't like clip into each other. You can see some clipping here. When I look at the like, I'm not a character artist. Philip, what's up, man? Morning, man. Alvin, yo. Polysocks, good to see you as well. So when me also saying I'm not a character artist, you can feel like there's the shoulders and like where the shoulders connect to the neck and the size of the head. Something feels off and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the structure of the jaw, but there's like proportional stuff happening where I'm like, okay, why does it feel strange to me? I don't understand, but I feel it. I think that's why character art can be so complicated or complex, is because we're even if you're not a character artist, you can pick up on the subtleties of what makes a character or like a human not feel right, especially when humanoid, right? Once it's an animal, it's a little easier for us to accept the shape language that we're seeing. But definitely when it's human based or humanoid based, there's going to be a lot of details where you're like, even if you don't know anything about character art or character design or human design and a human anatomy, you're naturally going to pick up on these details. So there's something here. Maybe it feels like it's a little bit sunken. Maybe like the jaw is further back or is up a little high when it could be exaggerated a little bit more. That's the other thing is I guess exaggerations can get really complicated. Oh, wow, that's cool. That's what it is. So the fact that there's no top to the head, I didn't even realize it here because of the way the composition is kind of clipping the, like it's, you almost have a tangent to the point where I'm not sure why I didn't, why the camera's so close. Cause I didn't even realize there's no top to the skull, which is cool. I mean, design wise, really interesting, cool looking. I think if the camera was further back and we understood why it's open like that, or really emphasizing like you are in this render, the material separation is really intriguing by comparison of this character up top here. Like this is kind of touching on certain colors that you would feel maybe in like a cyberpunk, for example. I don't know. What do you guys feel in chat when you see this type of stuff? Because to me, of course, extremely impressive. But I want to see. It's like I can see the raw power of what you can do, and I need to see it refined into like this modern kind of. It's like modern art in that sense. Like you want to see it refined into like its simplest form while still being able to show the complexity. I love this shot because you get us to focus on the arm, on the forearm, and just putting logic behind it and having that exposed on the outside. There's not too much detail, but still detail. Brighter yellow in the stomach. I mean, that could push the elements a bit as well. But you're getting a good balance of area of rest with the way that you're using the muscle structure. This like fibrous material with the kind of like hexagonal pattern on it. And there's like this stretched fiber surface along the center here, which actually makes it look like it can stretch, which is a nice attention to detail. But yeah, I mean, oh, this one's kind of cool. So this one's rad because I would love to see this in motion. Your presentation, super on point. Super on point. The elements that you have here for covering kind of the inner workings, this is a great way to tone down detail while still implying a lot, right? It can soften all of the information, but also kind of make it look quite complex. I mean, in here it says my assistant, so maybe there's someone helping as well. But I would love to see this character in motion. Oh, see, this is great too with the designs here. See, I think by having it duplicated behind itself, you're kind of putting yourself in a position where you can't really. It's hard to appreciate the design. Of course, in this shot, you can see it separated, but just getting those elements to kind of pop a little bit, like even just in the way that you light a character. Let me just like copy this image and give me a second here. I'm just gonna get Photoshop up and we'll do a quick little shoparoo of it and just talk about how we can push presentation for readability, and then we can move on to the next portfolio here. Okay, so we're getting some blur here as well, which is quite interesting. I don't know if it's needed or not. It is forcing a focus a bit more here, but this is also not really as in focus as maybe this side is. It's a little low res as well. Maybe rendering at a higher res would be good. Let's see. Let's see if we can't. I don't know how it's going to detect this, but we can try. Oh, that's not bad. Object Finder. We turn that off. Let's see if we can. There we go. Not bad. Just going to try and get some of this detail out. And yeah, that's not too bad. So I'm gonna just copy this piece and then paste it, so it's just on top of itself, right? And we'll just dupe and just kind of eyedrop some of this detail here. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of try and push the lighting back on the elements behind. And if we do like a, let's see here. I mean, you almost want to do like a hard light just so that it's pushing the brighter points back. So if we, I drop here, and you do this, of course, this is like, doesn't really make all that much sense, right? But let's play with this a little bit. So by doing this, you can push these elements back just to give you a little bit more readability on the character. And maybe this one goes back as well, this side here. And then everything comes forward, right? So thinking about those elements coming forward, maybe we take this upper piece and I'll just levels this out. So we're kind of blasting the top a bit. And then you can, let's put a mask on that and invert it. And we'll just, it's like a rim light along the top edge. Yeah. And we'll blow it out at first. It's fine. And then when you tone it down, try and find that balance. Maybe we need to take this and tone that down as well. Maybe it's just a little too strong. But you're trying to get those elements to kind of separate so that way you can just get the readability. I was accidentally doing it as well, but like this model, like if we go in, just getting like an undershadow here, that does a lot, right? Just getting it to pop the top off of there. Because I think if I, what is it? If I dupe this and put this on top, you can see it kind of looks a little strange when you see it by comparison. But just seeing how you get these elements that kind of pop out and where you want us to focus is going to be really important. So like if I let's just grab this part and we'll do like we'll create this as a smart object. So that way none of the changes that we do in the filters are permanent. So we'll do like a Gaussian blur and we'll really tone it down. So I'm just blurring this, and then I'm going to put a screen on here like you've seen me do a bajillion times, and then a mask, invert the mask, and just put like a hit where I want the bloom to be. And then maybe we go in here. You can see the Gaussian blur is still here. It's not permanent because we're a smart object. And we'll just tone that down, and then we'll really kind of tone this back and just find just enough bloom to make it interesting. And maybe we need to tone it back some more. But this is just taking that and pushing it just a little bit further. Like this gun is coming forward as well. You get a shadow behind that, right? That will look very, very strong. Like even just, we'll do, what time is it? It's 8:26. We got a little bit more time. Let's just do this. We'll just grab that part. Maybe we'll grab this part as well. And we'll just put it on that layer. Okay, that's not working. Another layer. We're gonna go a little bit darker. And then we can do like a multiply and then tone it down. Right? And just getting the gun to stick out a little bit more. This goes very far, very fast. Get these little highlights to get pushed back. Oh man, I see so many opportunities now. Just like you lose the arm, right? But if you have this area and you do this, now all of a sudden the arm separates from the rifle. So everything comes forward and you can see the separation of the elements. Again, let's bring the original version up front and just see like the difference in how these elements will pop out. It's addicting, man. This type of feedback, I love it. It's so fun. Let's see here. I think so. This one, because like the value is in what you want us to focus on, right? And the more we can focus on very specific things, the easier it is to digest. I don't know why I'm trying to manually mask this, but here we are. Can I do like an ellipse? Nope. Cool. I don't need to do that. Yeah. I'm just gonna, yeah, sure. Just gonna, yeah, there we go. And then doing like a really broad pass here, maybe even a darker one. And then we do like a multiply. and then really kind of tone it back. But dude, getting those elements to separate, you start to understand the shapes and the readability and what you want us to focus on, right? This is one of the ways to influence or make it easier to read the sheer amount of detail that you're adding to your assets. So just some stuff to take in for future work. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. It sounds like you guys in chat like that, so that was cool. We can go back to your portfolio real quick. So with that in mind, I think getting your thumbnails to read as very specific area, like this thumbnail, super strong. I would love to see the kind of art typography or like UI design aesthetic that you've got going to just kind of be present in all of your work, because it'll just kind of unify your content together. It is quite unified in the sense that everything is very busy and very mech-like, but how do you push that further? Even this, like this is a kit for selling. Make this look like a kit presentation, interesting, like 3/4 camera tilt, you know, some text at the bottom that's like kit, like 300 pieces, blah blah, you know, all this. Get it to pop out as like you're selling it, and if you can push the typography and the branding to kind of follow the stuff we're seeing in here, like this type of stuff, that'd be pretty sick. And I would like to see more of like the inner workings of how you're doing this stuff. Like you say, my assistant, I want to know, like, how are you modeling? How are you, like, how long does this take you? Have you attempted to make it real time? Are you doing any baking? Yeah. I want to see more. I want to see more, and I want to see you refine your work. Super cool. Thank you for sharing,